Hi guys, I'm going to give these notes another shot. I'm going to try a different software program, see if we can fix that audio issue we had yesterday. So I'm going to have you guys watch this one and let me know what you think. We're going to do chain rule today, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Chain rule has to do with composition, so a quick review on compositions. Compositions are when you take a function of another function. So we usually say one of these two notations. Both of them say f of g of x, which is what a composition is. The first one here is function notation. You actually see the f, and you're taking f of g of x. The second one, this little circle here, has the composition symbol. They both mean the same thing. Now the chain rule is for taking the derivative of a composition. So here's what the chain rule looks like. We have the derivative of f of g of x, that's our composition, and it ends up equaling f prime of g of x times g prime of x. Now, when I'm thinking of the chain rule, instead of having g of x, I like to think of this empty box that could represent anything. And then I say, okay, well, if I want to take the derivative of f of whatever, anything, then I can do that. I just take the derivative of f. I leave that part where it is and just take the derivative of f. But then the chain rule is that multiplication problem where I have to multiply by the derivative of whatever was inside that box. So I like to think of it as kind of like an inside-outside concept where, when you're doing a composition, you're plugging one function into another. That gives you an inside function. So what you do is you just leave that inside function, and then you do the derivative of the outside part around it. And then after that, you'll take that and you'll multiply your answer by the derivative of the inside function. So let's do a couple examples. I think it'll help you guys out. Hope you see what we're doing here. So we're going to find the derivative of f of x equals x squared plus 5x plus 1 to the third power. There's your composition. You have the inside function, x squared plus 5x plus 1. And then you have the outside function, which is basically where you're raising it to the third power. So if I want to find the derivative, f prime of x, what I do first is I leave the inside part. Leave the x squared plus 5x plus 1. And then we're going to do the derivative, we're going to do the power rule around it. So we're going to multiply by 3, lower the exponent to a 2. Then the chain rule part is this extra multiplication problem here on the end, where we have to multiply by the derivative of what was inside the parentheses. So I'm multiplying by the derivative of x squared plus 5x plus 1. Now the derivative of x squared, that's a power rule, so you do 2x, multiply by 2, lower the exponent by 1. The derivative of 5x is 5, and the derivative of 1 is 0. It's going to disappear. So basically, this is your answer here. You have 3 times x squared plus 5x plus 1 squared times 2x plus 5. All right, let's take a look at a second example here. Now this example is interesting because it needs to be rewritten first. Before we can take the derivative, I'm going to do two things. First of all, every time I see a square root in my function, I automatically write it as a 1/2 power so I can do the power rule. But I'm also going to take this and I'm going to move it up with the 2 using negative exponents. So I'm going to rewrite this. Instead of 2 over the square root of 5x minus 1, I'm going to write it as 2 times 5x minus 1 to the negative 1/2 power. Negative because it was in the bottom, in the reciprocal, and 1/2 because it was a square root. So now I'm going to do the problem just like the last one. When I find f prime of x, let's leave everything for now. Leave the 2 times 5x minus 1, and I'm going to do the power rule on the negative 1/2, meaning I'm going to multiply by negative 1/2, and I'm going to lower the exponent by 1, which actually gives me negative 3/2. Negative 1/2 minus 1 is negative 3 over 2. And then comes the chain rule part. So we have to multiply by the derivative of 5x minus 1, which is just 5. So this one we can actually clean up a little. Last time I just stopped because we were basically done. But here, the 1/2 and the 2 will cancel each other out. And what we'll have, we'll put the negative 5 out front. We had the negative left over and we still have the 5. And we'll just say our answer is negative 5 times 5x minus 1 to the negative 3 over 2. All right, I hope this was better. We'll see how it goes, and you guys can let me know. All right, talk to you later.